may feel physical pain makes it misleading to the point of falsehood, since it is uncontroversial that embryos and fetuses early in gestation cannot feel pain. The Texas booklets claim that it is unknown whether fetuses can feel pain at 12 weeks is equally misleading, since there is not even scientific debate about fetal pain that early. Furthermore, while some statutes require that women be notified of the option of fetal anesthesia, they do not require disclosure of the risk that fetal anesthesia carries for pregnant women. Yet again, the bias in favor of childbirth in these laws is clear. There is no real effort to give patients all of the information that might inform their choice. Legislators bend over backward to include anything that might discourage a woman from choosing abortion, but omit corresponding risk on the other side of the scale. And waiting 72 hours is not going to change a woman's mind. Since 2005, South Dakota's bias counseling statute has required that the physicians tell their abortion patients that the abortion will terminate the life of a whole, separate, unique, living human being. In 2009, North Dakota added an identical mandatory disclosure. Some bias counseling laws convey ideological speech in slightly more subtle ways. Bias counseling materials frequently use anti-abortion language, especially by referring to the pregnancy as an unborn child. Some states produce materials direct patients to crisis pregnancy centers that are devoted to persuading women not to have abortions. Like we're going to run out of a whole bunch of people. South Dakota went much further in 2011 when it enacted a law that requires abortion patients to be subjected to private ideological speech. The statute provides that before they consent to an abortion, patients must have a consultation at their pregnancy help center, which the law defines as an organization dedicated to helping a pregnant mother maintain her relationship with her unborn child and care for her unborn child. Thus, the state requires that patients be subjected to private speech that will make claims about the moral status of the embryo or the fetus in order to discourage them from carrying out the decision to terminate their pregnancies. These laws mandate that physicians make ideological statements they may not agree with and that are not part of their duty to disclose medically relevant information. They are meant to convey the metaphysical proposition that the embryo or fetus is a person, or the normative proposition that is an entity with particular moral status, even taking it as a given that the state has the power to engage in such speech. It should not intrude into the doctor-patient relationship to do so. These laws are sometimes defended as not being ideological at all. For example, South Dakota's unique human being statement was upheld in the face of a challenge that it violated doctors' First Amendment rights not to be compelled to utter the state's ideological speech. In order to avoid the seemingly obvious conclusion that the statement was ideological, the court looked to the statutory definition of human being and concluded that the statement was meant in a biological sense as referring to a member of the species of Homo sapiens. However, the average person would not understand the word separate, unique, living human being to have a purely biological meaning unless the statement statutory definition was also read to her. Even then, the words separate and unique seem clearly intended to convey moral or metaphysical meaning, not least because on a biological understanding of the word, an embryo or a fetus is not obviously separate and cannot survive on its own from the pregnant woman, since it is inside her body and connected to her via the umbilical cord and placenta.